Sure, she may be completely and utterly evil, but Hela has always been a person with a plan. She's got people to see and then destroy, as well as places to conquer. Why bother spending time forming friendships and alliances when you can simply reanimate corpses and force them to do your evil bidding? That's just good time management and an incredibly impressive superpower. Hela makes new allies whenever she needs them, quite literally by utilizing necromancy when the situation calls for it. In addition to bringing back vast swaths of the undead, she can also bring back powerful beings like her pet wolf Fenris and her berserker. Apparently, being an ally of Hela means never having to say goodbye for too long. Despite being called the god of thunder, it's electricity that Thor controls. He's able to conjure and then control massive blasts of energy. For a period of time, he relied on Mjolnir to help him focus his power, but he later learned the true power was inside himself all along. Isn't that sweet? Thor's powers are some of the most incredible in the MCU, and his command of electricity is his most impressive. Not only can he call upon blasts of lightning to smite his foes, but he can also use them to enhance his own attacks. By using this power and channeling it into Stormbreaker, he very nearly defeated Thanos, and he could have if he just aimed for the head. Hey, listen, we didn't say being smart was one of his powers. Peter Parker's Spidey sense is pretty cool, but it pales in comparison to Heimdall's Omnisense. Being the gatekeeper to Asgard is a serious task, and there's a reason Heimdall was chosen to fulfill this role. He can use his powers to see and hear anything going on anywhere within the 9 realms. He's able to intercept plots and respond to people calling for him from other worlds. Although this power isn't completely infallible, it's still incredibly impressive. And also incredible is that Heimdall has managed to master his power in order to avoid being constantly overwhelmed by taking in far too much stimuli. Heimdall's power is so amazing that Loki even wondered if there was a time Odin may have feared him. Earlier, we said Groot has way more impressive powers than being able to grow flowers, and now we're going to talk about them. Despite being a giant tree, he's surprisingly resilient, and he's able to shield himself with twigs. If he's injured, he has the incredible ability to regenerate parts of his body. Within just a few hours of having an arm chopped off, Groot can regrow a new one. This makes Groot almost impossible to defeat since he can rapidly heal any injuries he sustains over the course of battle. And even if you do manage to destroy Groot, he can reproduce by planting a piece of himself. So, in a way, he'll still live on. We saw this happen at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is how we wound up with the adorable baby Groot and the angst-filled teenage Groot. We know Bruce Banner hasn't always been appreciative of his ability to transform into the Incredible Hulk, but there's no denying that it's an incredibly potent power. For a long time, the major downside to Banner hulking out was the unpredictable nature of the Hulk. Historically, he hasn't been great at smashing just what needs to be smashed and not going on a major rampage, but during Thor Ragnarok, we learned Hulk is capable of speaking, thinking, and even expressing feelings of friendship. Later, in Infinity War, we learned Hulk is also getting tired of bailing out Bruce Banner all the time. Despite his often unpredictable nature, Hulk is still one of the mightiest heroes in the MCU. Poor Loki, he's like the Job Bluth of the MCU. He spent years desperately seeking the approval of his parents, and nobody ever seems to be truly impressed with his illusions. But don't worry, Loki, we see you, and we have to admit you've got some serious skills. Heimdall may have the Omnisense, but this amazing power has been fooled by Loki's wily ways before. At first, it seems like Loki was pretty much only good at fooling Thor, which isn't that impressive of a feat, but soon he was fooling all of Asgard with his masterful impersonation of Odin. In fact, he was able to rule Asgard for a long time with his subjects being none the wiser. Many of Loki's powers may be subtle, but that doesn't mean they're not incredible. Although the insidious Yon-Rogg tried to convince her not to rely on her powers, we all know how powerful the photon blasts of Captain Marvel can be. Thanks to the Space Stone, she has access to an immense source of cosmic energy, which she can channel into mighty photon blasts. She can punch her way through concrete and spaceships, so you can just imagine what she could do to a weak, squishy human being, and if she doesn't use a direct blast, this force can send out a shockwave strong enough to bring down large numbers of enemies. By channeling her powers effectively, she's able to outright destroy her enemies or simply incapacitate them so they can't fight back. Even though Doctor Strange broke the rules by entering the restricted section of the library, he ended up gaining mastery over one of, if not the single most impressive power in the entire MCU. Thanos made it seem like anyone can just pick up the Time Stone and use it, and perhaps that's true to a certain extent, but we've seen Doctor Strange do some shocking things using this particular Infinity Stone that's simply unparalleled. He managed to trap Dormammu in a time loop and quickly glance over 14,605 futures during Infinity War. Time travel is a hard talent to beat, and we haven't seen anyone better at it than Doctor Strange. 25